Hello. In this video, we're going to explore, in brief, why most New Year's resolutions are soul-destroying, self-worth smashing, capitalist nonsense, and how maybe you don't have to, though, abandon what could be a really awesome cultural ritual with just a few tweaks. I'm Liz Scarf, and welcome to Collaborative Learning for Cultural Repair. So, it's that time of year. New Year's resolutions. Oh, here we go. So, what are they? New Year's resolutions are referred to in the literature as self-initiated attempts at change behaviour, and I think that's a good enough description for our purposes here, so we'll go with that. So from what I can gather, the first known list of resolutions coinciding with the ticking over of a calendar year was around 2000 BC by Egyptian pharaoh Hofetep, which I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, forgive me if I am, the fourth, who not surprisingly had a lot of status building activities on his list, like build a bigger pyramid, get more concubines. Seriously, I kid you not, this is his list. Okay. These days, the most common resolutions, New Year's resolutions for people in Western cultures, are about improving physical health, losing weight, and eating better, or better eating habits. So going on diets, that kind of thing. Drinking more water. Anyway, they kind of bunch around this improved physical health with a very specific idea of what improves physical health, obviously, right? So in some ways, these are also status building activities if you're successful, that they are self-worth smashing activities if you're not, and successful or not, they definitely capture us in some pretty nasty capitalist machinations. Now, I want to say from the outset, I don't have an opinion about whether anyone needs to lose weight or not, right? So body size, amounts of physical activity, and what people ingest, they have huge moral codes attached to them. And that is not the topic of this video. I'm talking here about them because they're the top three things that are most common on New Year's resolution lists. And they've been the top three for at least a decade. And so they may be on your list in one way or another, or you might think that they should be. Now, I haven't come across any literature that makes sociocultural meanings out of these things being the sort of top three. So I had to think, well, why is, as a cultural creation, why are these here on our top list? And I've got a few theories. And the first one is that the main cause of death for Westerners is lifestyle. And so our daily choices about food, movement, and ingesting toxic substances like alcohol and cigarettes are what is most likely to shorten our lifespans. And, you know, we probably want to live longer. And so we think, oh, I should work on my health, especially the older we get. Second one is in cultures so obsessed about appearance and conforming to a very narrow window of appearance standards, it's our physical appearance that is the thing that we are often the most self-critical of, because we are internalizing the cultural criticism if we're not fitting in the norm. So we're very socialized and enculturated to be very critical of our physical appearance and physical well-being. This, of course, is a great way to make a gazillion bucks out of people, which is what the fitness, wellness, and weight loss industries do. The third one, which is actually the one that's more interesting to me, is, well, most interesting to me in the moment, is that being healthy, whatever that means, is really hard in Western cultures as it actually has very little cultural support. And that's what I want to talk about more in this video. Western cultures have massive overt narratives about valuing being healthy. We talk the talk like a lot. However, our culture has evolved in such a way that the basic structures of our lives are not actually that good for our bodies. So the increasing number of jobs that require people to sit a lot, the way we recreate has become increasingly sedentary, right? More TV, more social media, movies, computer games, catching up for coffee. And both of these mean we have to exercise. Now, exercise is a relatively modern invention for the majority of the population to have to engage in. Historically, we used to just move a lot more and have more manual labour in our lives. The second part, I think, is around is the obesogenic environment we have allowed to flourish. And this is a term in the literature which obviously obesity is a problematic, contested and debated piece of language as well. But an obesogenic environment refers to the collective physical, economic, policy, social, cultural factors that promote obesity, right? The fact that it's legal for breakfast cereals to market themselves as healthy when they have sugar levels of 20 to 30% plus, the number of fast food stores that are close by where you live, how easily you can access active transport modes, the amount of food advertising you're exposed to, portion sizing and upselling of calories in food outlets and restaurants, the billions of dollars of research that goes into working out the exact right balance of sugar and salt, sometimes caffeine, to addict people to certain foods and drinks. Even these are all parts of an obesogenic environment or obesogenic culture. Even the modern dietary advice to have grains or carbohydrates as the foundation, that food pyramid, the bottom thing, that the foundation of a healthy diet is grains and carbohydrates. It's not because it's got good research support. It's because grains are the easiest food to store. They are part of the early emergence of capitalist accumulation because of their ease of storage. So my point is, and I do get very excited about this, excuse the ranting sometimes, but my point is that having trouble eating healthy is a collective issue, a cultural issue, not only a personal one. So it makes sense that we grab for the extra motivational boost that New Year's resolution rituals offer, because as individuals, we probably don't have enough psychological power to combat the cultural pressures to be unhealthy that are all around us all the time. And putting sole responsibility on the individual to make better choices, I think it's just cruel. Which segues us into a framework that I think is highly relevant here. You may or may not have heard of the commercial determinants of health, which is basically the idea of how commercial actors, companies, impact people's health in their quest to make money. This can range from labour practices, impacting the health of employees and outsourced workers, to the influence over legal frameworks or lack thereof regarding access to or exposure to harmful substances such as alcohol, cigarettes, sugar, air pollution, agave syrup, fruit juice, high fructose corn syrup. It's a really long list. I will stop there. And how industries such as the multi-billion-dollar weight loss industry have a fundamental conflict of interest. So if you lose the weight and keep it off, they've just lost an income source. It's better if you lose the weight for a while and then put it back on, ka-ching, repeat customer, which is how the majority of people engaging in formal diets actually, that's their actual experience, is they have to be repeat customers to the diet industry because the industry doesn't actually work very well. So what if you do want to make changes to improve your health and or you like New Year's resolutions? I'm with you actually, because I really like New Year's resolutions, although I don't go quite so with like resolutions, but a New Year's something. And for me, there's a reflective process I like to engage with about the year that's been and then connecting into dreams for the year ahead. And some of mine will definitely be around health, because the older I get, the more interested I am in my health, the more interested I have to be, right? So my invitation, I guess, is to think about New Year's resolutions or New Year's reflective processes and change processes, not only from an individual actions with individual impact kind of perspective, but also collectively, and strategies that are more integrated in life rather than compartmentalized. So I do this here and I do that there, that kind of thing. So, I mean, some ideas. Maybe you want to engage in some food activism. For example, you could print some stickers that say 24% sugar and put them on the corresponding cereal boxes in the supermarket. Sort of like an idea, right? Random, not naming names. You can look that up to get the percentages right for different brands. Or if you do want to change your own food habits, you could do it with some friends, do it with kindness to yourselves, make it fun and social, do some batch cooking together, make and swap fermented vegetables, get involved in a food co-op. Like, there's lots of ways we could impact our food habits without going on diets. You can also change the way you socialize sometimes to impact on health, right? I happen to have a lot of dietary restrictions, and so I often can't catch up with friends at cafes. It's not good for me. So now we actually all catch up for going for walks together, which has been really awesome. So I get more movement, and I also don't have to expose myself to places that tempt me to eat things that are going to have really bad impacts in my body for me. If you need to move more, is exercise the only way to do that? What about getting into gardening or more active hobbies? I don't recommend knitting on this one. It's a disaster of a hobby for trying to get more movement in your life. But you can also modify current hobbies to be more active. So it's a bit tragic, but I try knitting while walking very slowly on a treadmill. And I say it's a bit tragic, but I still try it anyway because I sit so much for work. I have got to take any opportunity and come up with creative ideas to get more movement woven into my life. I cannot actually just do it by exercising. So I guess my point is thinking outside the box about how we make changes in our lives and thinking more collectively than individually and arming ourselves with a bit of knowledge about the biggest system we're in that impacts our capacity to make change. I think all of this can make New Year's resolutions process like a really fabulous and fun and culturally reparative ritual. So if this has got your cogs turning on how you might tweak or change or engage with a New Year's kind of reflective process, I would love to read any ideas that you come up with for changes in your life. I'm looking for inspiration, so yeah, please share them in the comments below. That would be very cool. I'm not sure if this is the last video of the year. It might be because I've made the topic New Year's resolutions. There might be another one. We'll see. Either way, I hope you have a fabulous 2024 with a lot of cultural repair in your life or whatever it is that you're dreaming of. Okay, thanks. Bye.